prepared to go out and work in a variety of different fields. A number of them have gone out to start their own companies, so we want them to succeed in whatever it is they choose to do.
NYU is a perfect place to expand your personal abilities and explore your professional career. NYU También has given me a toolkit to stand strong in New York City.
If you want to join NYU También, you just need to be ready to challenge yourself and aim high, to have no limits to what you want to accomplish, and then know that with the effort and with the support of this big community, everything is possible.
NYU También School of Engineering is an exciting place to be right now. We have an incredible pool of talented professors, amazing students who will be your friends and colleagues. We have access to incubators and startups and industry in New York City and broader. Altogether, I am excited to be here, and I hope you will be as excited as I am once you join us.
And there you are. So that video gives you a bit of an idea of the school, kind of in ways that I couldn't just tell you. But NYU School of Engineering, I'm not going to go through the whole history here, but we are the second oldest private institution of engineering, science, and technology in the United States. We were founded in 1854 as a Polytechnic Institute of Brooklyn. And we've had a long history of innovation. This talk is supposed to be more focused on computer science, so I'm going to talk about some of the computer science related innovations that have come out of NYU También. One of our alumni, Eugene Kleiner, was the founder of Fairchild Semiconductor, which was one of the first firms that started Silicon Valley in California. The alumnus Richard Orford was the inventor of the modern ATM in 1977, also a También alumnus. We currently host the largest gathering of computer science students in a hackathon every year called Seesaw, in which our students and teams from other universities are able to try to hack the Pentagon and do other types of cyber security work. That's just some of the highlights. Check out our Wikipedia page. Don't take my word for it. We've been doing great things for 160 years, and we do receive a lot of recognition for that. For those of you interested in computer science, we were ranked number 9 in the US for computer science and information systems last year by QS. We've been ranked, NYU as a whole, as number 28 among the best universities in the world. We're ranked 38 among US engineering schools, which is important not because we're number 38, but because in the last 10 years, we've gone from something like number 82 up to number 38. So we're a school that's on the rise, and we do expect to continue that trajectory in the next few years. We've been ranked number 4 Dream School by the Princeton Review, which means out of all the schools in the US, students ranked NYU as number 4 of the schools they'd like to attend. Rankings are not the most important thing, but it is important that you understand that NYU is well regarded, and that may serve you as you are moving into your professional career after graduation. We talked in a bit in that video about our startups. So if you're interested in some type of entrepreneurial activity through our future labs, we have funding, we have office space, and mentorship through local industry leaders as well as our professors to launch startups, and we've had a lot of success with those recently. 3 astronauts have graduated from NYU También, 2 of whom come back regularly to visit and meet with our students. We have a student to faculty ratio of 15:1, so you as a graduate student will have plenty of face-to-face contact with your professors. 3 Nobel Prize winners are associated with the school. We have annual research expenditures of $52 million, so there's plenty of funding available for those of you who at the master's or PhD level are interested in getting into higher level research, and our average class size is 35 for our graduate degree programs. Some more numbers for you. We are an engineering school. New York University as a whole is the largest private university in the US. We have around 60,000 students, so we're a big university, but the engineering school is only around 5,500 students this year, about half graduate students and half undergraduate students. So we have a higher percentage of graduate students than most universities and schools our size, and I think that shows in the amount of research output that we have for a relatively small school. For those of you interested in applying, we are a selective competitive school. GRE is generally required for most of our programs, although Currently now with the coronavirus, we know that that is harder for people to do, and on a case-by-case basis, we may waive those for you. But to give you an idea of the type of students who are admitted, our average verbal score was a 151, and average quantitative was a 164 in the GRE. You will need to have a minimum GPA of 3.0 out of 4 on the US scale, and we'll take your Venezuelan transcripts and convert that for you, so there's no need for you to worry about doing that yourself. At the engineering school, we have students from 60 countries currently, more than a few Venezuelans in both our faculty and student body. Of course, around 35% of our students last year were admitted of those who completed their applications. And I need to update this slide. USA Today, which is a major kind of news outlet in the US, ranked NYU as the second most diverse school in the US. We also have more international students than any other university, with around 19,000. And our graduate programs at the También School are about 75% international. So you'll be joining people from all around the world and the United States as well at También. This is a full listing of our programs. As I mentioned, I know many of you may be interested in computer science. We have both master's and PhD options in computer science. We also have computer engineering and cybersecurity for those of you interested in that field. Electrical engineering, as well as biotechnology and biotechnology in entrepreneurship, as well as bioinformatics. All of those programs fall somewhat under the umbrella of our computer science programs. We do pride ourselves in having top faculty in many different fields, and computer science is no exception. I will talk a little bit more about our faculty in a moment, but one of the things that has brought NYU También up in the rankings in recent years is that we've been able to recruit not only top students to come to join us at the school, but also top faculty members in their field. Related to computer science and engineering, probably the closest thing that we're best known for is being one of the top schools for 5G research. So they're working on wireless technology of the future, and we're actually one of 6 US universities that has been chosen to pioneer research into 6G wireless network technology. The director of the Computer Science and Engineering program is Dr. Nasser Memon, who is pictured here. If you do have more specific questions about the Computer Science department, I can share his contact information. Especially if you are thinking of applying to a PhD program, I would encourage you to start reaching out to the faculty in the Computer Science program, because they'll be able to tell you what type of research they're doing and whether your research interests match up with what they're doing. If you're applying for a master's program, you don't necessarily have to talk to the faculty members unless you have questions. Generally, an admissions office can handle those for you. I mentioned our 5G research, and pictured here is Dr. Ted Rappaport, who has been a star in that field for some time and continues to lead. Another thing that draws students to NYU También are the facilities that we have developed in recent years, including high-speed networking laboratory. We also have a very cool AR/VR lab for those of you interested in the digital media side of things. Of course, power and power electronics engineering, and a whole host of other things for those of you interested in computer science, and especially cybersecurity. We have the offensive security, incident response, and internet security lab. I'm going to speed up a little bit here. As if you are a También student, you will not only be able to take classes in the engineering school, you could take classes from any of NYU's schools. So perhaps you want to take a class in our Center for Data Science, you would be able to do that, as well as have access to all of the activities that NYU brings. We are a global university. I'm not going to talk about all of this, but the NYU name is well known. I think most of you have an idea about what New York is. We are located here in Brooklyn, one of the 5 boroughs of New York City. We're very centrally located and have good access to over probably 10 to 12 different subway lines within a 5-minute walk from campus. So wherever you choose to live, do an internship, or socialize around New York City, you'll be able to get to and from campus very easily. Many of our students will live in Brooklyn, of course, Queens, and northern New Jersey as well, which is easily accessible via commuter trains. Manhattan, just because of the cost of rent, tends to not be where most of our students live, but of course you could do that as well. And this other star in the at the tip of Manhattan is where our Washington Square campus is located. It takes about 15 minutes for you to get from the Brooklyn campus to the Manhattan campus. We also have a shuttle that runs for free between those two areas. Again, for time, I'm not going to talk too much about all that New York City has to offer, other than you will not be bored here, and we have plenty of recreational and academic as well as professional opportunities for you. One of the things that we do best at NYU Tandon is jobs, in specific with computer science and technology. One of the things that people don't realize is that aside from being a major or the major financial hub of the United States, we also are the second largest tech center in the United States after Silicon Valley. So for those of you who are coming to do computer science studies, you'll have the opportunity not only to work at a purely tech company, because Facebook, Amazon, Google, all of those have a footprint here in New York and are currently expanding, but you'll also perhaps be able to snag a job in a finance company, construction company, or any of the other media industries that are in New York City. So plenty of jobs. Closer to you in Brooklyn, closer rather to our campus in Brooklyn, we have what is known as the Brooklyn Tech Triangle, which has developed in the last 15 years or so and continues to be a source of innovation and jobs and internships for our students. I'm going to speed up a little more. There's a schematic of our campus here in Brooklyn, and then the Manhattan campus and the subway lines laid out. If you come to New York, you will want to get familiar with the subway relatively quickly and want to think about where you're living as you are looking at the various subway lines and how they connect to our campus. I mentioned our future labs. We have the Data Future Lab, Digital Future Lab, which are most connected with computer science. To date, we've had over 100 companies launched out of those, 3,200 jobs created with nearly $4.1 billion impact in the last decade. So if you have an entrepreneurial bent, our future labs would be a great option for you. We have 2 different career offices to help our students get jobs after graduation. I think one of the more interesting is the Tandon Office of Career Services. They have personalized job coaching so that you can go through your resume, talk with a coach about what your career or internship goals are, and they will help you to find the jobs that you're going to apply for, as well as to negotiate a job offer after you graduate. So many times right after you're finishing university, you may not have had experience in negotiating a job offer before, or you're coming from another country, you don't know how labor contracts are done in the United States. And so our coaches are able to help you make sure that you're getting the most value out of your future job offer and kind of help you know what you can do in that process. And then of course we have the Wasserman Center, which is an award-winning career center, and they have major career fairs every year, bringing both large and small companies to campus to meet with our students for internship and job opportunities. NYU has a network of nearly 500,000 alumni, many of whom, of course, have done very well afterward and may be able to give you a leg up after you graduate due to them knowing the quality of the education that you had at NYU Tandon. We do pride ourselves on the quality of entrepreneurs that come out of NYU. Here are some of the larger companies that are associated with NYU community members or alumni having founded them. Perhaps we can add one of your companies to that in the future. I'm going to show, perhaps not this whole video, but Varsha Sivakumar was one of our computer science students. She just graduated. She actually worked with me very closely, and she's gone on to a great job here in New York City after she completed her computer science program. So I'll show this video quickly, and then we will go through the application requirements and answer your questions.
My experience at NYU Tandon has been brilliant. The city is wonderful, and there are a lot of job opportunities for everyone. My name is Varsha Shivkumar, and I'm from Bangalore, India, and I'm currently pursuing my master's in computer science. I've always loved solving complex programs, and here at NYU Tandon, you get to do it for every subject, for every assignment that there is. I chose to enroll in computer science at NYU Tandon because you get to shape your own degree. One of the exciting courses that I've taken is network security, AI, and machine learning. NYU Tandon has a great mixture of culture here. I have classmates who come from different countries, and they present different ideas and what they've learned from their own country, and that's very interesting to see. The faculty here at NYU También campus is brilliant. At any given point, any day of the week, you have any query, you can always drop them an email and they will respond back to you. And they go out of their way to help you out with every assignment that you have. Internship is a very important part of education here at NYU También. And during my summer, I interned at BlackRock. It's one of the largest asset management firms in the world. At BlackRock, I had the chance to interact with different departments. So because it was a fintech giant, I had the chance to interact with people who were working in the finance background as well as the technology side of it. My internship led to a full-time opportunity at BlackRock, so I can't wait to start working there. NYU is a huge institution. There are several schools in Brooklyn as well as in Manhattan, and it barely takes 15 to 20 minutes to get to the Washington Square campus. And what I love about the campus is that the library there is huge and it's wonderful. You have individual and group study rooms. So if you have an interview or you just want to study for an exam, you could just always drop by there, and it's open 24/7. New York is such a wonderful city, and the fact that Manhattan is so close to the Brooklyn campus, I get to go there every weekend. I love attending Broadway shows, going to museums, trying out different restaurants. And here in New York, you find different cuisines everywhere, wherever you go. NYU También has exceeded my expectations, and I can't wait to start using what I've learned in my career.
All right, so Varsha has done very well for herself after graduation, which is a story that is typical of our graduates. One of the figures that we have to represent that is the fact that we had a 97% career placement rate for our graduates of master's and PhD programs. That means 97% were working within their field of study within 3 months of graduation. Mid-career salary range is $111,000 per year. Number 11 for graduate employability, we've been ranked by QS, and pay scale ranked us number 4 among US engineering schools. So our education is rigorous. It is going to test you mentally, but it will pay off down the line in terms of fantastic career options. I'm going to go through this quickly because I want to give you time to ask me questions, but we do, most of our programs accept applications for fall and spring with the exception of a few of the MS programs, so you can check out those deadlines there. PhD programs only accept applications for fall, so if you're interested in that, you will need to have your materials ready by December 1st of this year. The application is done online. I did put in the chat box the application fee waiver sign up. So if you don't want to pay that $75 application fee, please do sign up there. If you decide later that you would like to apply, you can always send me an email and I can get you that fee waiver as well. If you have official transcripts, that is what we will require, although we do know that many universities around the world are currently closed. So we are currently accepting unofficial transcripts if the student is unable to get official transcripts, meaning a transcript that was issued to you either electronically or in paper format. We will accept for evaluation. Later on, we will require those official transcripts though. As I mentioned earlier, we prefer to see the GRE for almost all of our programs. If you do not have a GRE score due to the current coronavirus situation on a case-by-case basis, we will consider you for a waiver for that. Although if you can take the GRE either at home or at a testing center, we would encourage that because it could help you to receive more scholarship funding. If you are a non-native speaker of English who has not completed a degree in the United States or another majority English-speaking country, you will need to sit for either the TOEFL, our minimum is 90 on that, IELTS, which we have a minimum of 7.0, or we've recently added the Duolingo online test of English, and our minimum there is 115. So for those of you, if you're currently under quarantine, the Duolingo test is pretty simple to do if you have a stable internet connection, although TOEFL or IELTS are available as well. And we do accept requests for English proficiency waivers, so you'll need to explain why you think you should qualify for a waiver. We'll review that and let you know if you have not sat for one of those tests. You'll need to have a resume or CV to upload with your application, a 1 to 2 page statement about why you are interested in the program and why you think you would be a good candidate that will be uploaded along with your application. 1 to 2 letters, at least 2 letters of recommendation. Those can be from former professors or people who supervised you in a professional or research role. These can be done electronically in that you put the email address and relationship and name of the person, and we will send them an email and they can fill it out online. It simplifies the process significantly. And you can send any academic papers along with your application if you have been doing research in the past. With that, I am going to answer any questions you guys have. Thank you all for joining us for the presentation.
Thank you very much, Corey.
Yeah.
So guys, if you have any question for Corey, please.
We know that it's like a lot of information to process, but
yeah,
we understand, and he gave us his email to put the question there.
And if you want, I do understand Spanish, so you can write it in Spanish.
Yeah.
I'm gonna answer you in English just
exactly.
because I don't want to embarrass myself on here, but...
Puede responder en español cualquier pregunta que tengan, así que no se limiten con el idioma. Aunque yo tengo una pregunta para ti, Corey, que la sacamos de nuestro Instagram, y es, I'm studying Venezuela, studying computer science. Can I transfer my credits to NYU?
If you are an undergrad student, it depends on undergrad or grad. For graduate students, the maximum is 9 credits for a 36 credit master's program, so you could transfer up to 1 semester, and that would be with departmental approval. For undergrad, the process is a little different, and I'm not the expert on that. In short, yes, but they would need to check with undergraduate admissions about that.
Okay, thank you, Corey. And another one is, how much for a semester in NYU?
So for the engineering school, our tuition before scholarship is $17,000 per semester for a full-time student. Now, I should have mentioned earlier, all master students are considered for merit-based scholarships, and those are up to around 40% the cost of tuition, meaning around $14,000 a year you could get. And most of our PhD students, the vast majority, receive a full tuition waiver as well as an RA or TA-ship. I should mention also that NYU Tandon, or NYU as a whole, receives the second most Fulbright students in the US after Harvard. So Fulbright's a great option if that's something you're interested in as well.
Oh, that's great. Well, we have another one from Sofia Guillen. Do you offer scholarship for undergraduate students?
So again, I wish I knew the undergrad information more. My understanding is, and I hope I'm not misspeaking here, NYU does have need-based and merit-based scholarships at the undergrad level, or they might just be need-based. But in short, if they admit you as an undergrad, yes, they will work with you and help you with scholarships there.
Oh, that's perfect. Oh, well, Corey, maybe they're gonna send you more questions, your email, maybe they're gonna contact the faculty in the NYU University. And well, thank you so much for your time, for your information that you gave us, and we really appreciate that.
Before introduce our next presenter, it is important for you to know that the power went out in several places in Venezuela. So this session is being recorded since many were unable to connect or their connection may fail during this session.
Yeah,
so,
maybe we're gonna upload it from IGTV on Instagram, maybe on YouTube, so you can rewatch this.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you all for attending. Again, my email's in the chat box, and I will be happy to assist. Best of luck. Hope everyone's staying safe, and look forward to hearing from you. Bye.
Okay. Thank you, Corey.
Thank you very much, Corey.
Very
welcome.
Have
a nice day.
Okay. Well, now Tyler Hardy from Illinois Institute of Technology. He's the International Admission Counselor, is going to talk to us about cybersecurity, which is a very interesting topic.
Yeah.
Tyler, whenever you want.
Hello, Taylor. Are you there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Tyler.
I'm doing great.
Good, good. I have a student, a current student with us, so he'll be speaking a little bit during the presentation about what being
fantastic.
a cybersecurity student is like. So once he gets to that, he'll just turn his camera on and his mic. Now let me share my screen. All right. All right, can everyone see this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I will get started. So today's presentation is going to be a little bit about cybersecurity at a STEM institution and what that entails, specifically studying it at an institution called Illinois Tech. It's located in Chicago, Illinois. I'll be going over that a little bit later on in the presentation. So what to expect? So it's going to be about a 10-minute Illinois Tech cybersecurity presentation, 10-minute Q&A with a current cybersecurity major. I'll be asking him some questions, but feel free to use the chat box if you were wondering anything. And a 10-minute admissions overview with Q&A. Video and audio are off for audience members. For right now, use the chat box in the bar at the bottom to ask questions throughout, and we'll try to answer them throughout the presentation. So what is cybersecurity? I think this is something that is very unfamiliar in a lot of countries, a lot of regions. So I just want to introduce what cybersecurity is. So first, it's the coming together of people, processes, and technology to protect organizations, individuals, or networks from digital attack. Next, many attacks are aimed at gaining access to, changing, or destroying sensitive information. And because there are more devices than people and hackers are becoming more innovative, cybersecurity is constantly evolving. So it's an ever-changing field. It's constantly growing. You have to adapt. It's very highly in demand, as I'll mention. So some reasons why to major in cybersecurity. Again, it's highly in demand. 50% of cybersecurity jobs will not be filled by 2025. And right now, over 315,000 jobs in cybersecurity are unfilled. And I believe around 11,000 of those are in the city of Chicago itself. So it is a very highly in demand profession. It's not outdated. It won't be outdated because it's critical to national security, as I'll mention later on. High salaries, especially for a fresh graduate from a bachelor's program. And it's very hands-on, many opportunities for projects or research. So going into what career paths are possible with a cybersecurity degree. One here, forensic computer analyst. So they combine computer science with forensics to recover information from computers and storage devices. So you'd be able to work alongside detectives or other, cybersecurity professionals in accessing this information. Another is an IT security engineer. They identify threats and vulnerabilities in systems and software, and then apply their skills in developing and implementing high-tech solutions. And then another option here is security consultants. They assess security measures for their organization or client, and they analyze these security breaches, study potential breaches, and supervise the implementation of solutions. So the IT security engineer is kind of developing these high-tech solutions, but the security consultant is giving advice on how to implement these solutions. So some real-world cybersecurity cases. I'm sure, as a few of you may know, there's that 2020 Twitter hack that happened where a ton of famous people on Twitter were hacked, telling people to use Bitcoins with them and they'd be able to give them money back. So Twitter is kind of having to revamp or reassess their cybersecurity based on this. There's the US election interference in 2016 from outside government. So it does affect, politics and the way people vote. And then right here, the 2017 Equifax hack. This happened in the US. So I think about 150 million Americans' personal information was hacked and revealed nationwide. So it was a huge breach of security and a huge thing that happened within the cybersecurity field. And so cybersecurity analysts, their jobs in a lot of ways are to assess how to stop this from happening or to prevent something from happening like this in the future as well. So a little bit about some of the cybersecurity programs offered at Illinois Tech. We're going to focus on the undergraduate programs for now, but I do have some graduate programs that are listed on here too. So the first one is a Bachelor's of Science of Applied Cybersecurity and Information Technology. I'm not going to read over all of this. I think you can get an idea as to what it's about here, but just to focus on this, students will investigate the technical and business components of IT and security to become well-rounded leaders. So you're going to learn how to implement these solutions in a lot of ways. Some example courses include cybersecurity management, cyber warfare, and human-computer interaction. The other cybersecurity degree that we have at Illinois Tech is computer and cybersecurity engineering. Again, I'm not going to read over all of this, but this one's more focused on designing systems rather than being a technician. So if you're looking to design systems and getting into engineering more so than management in a lot of ways, this would be the major for you. We also do offer a minor in cybersecurity foundations if there were students that wanted to major in something else, but just wanted to get a taste or the experience of what learning and being involved in the cybersecurity field is all about. And these are some of the graduate programs that are offered as well. We have cybersecurity, cyber forensics and security, and cybersecurity and engineering. And now I'm with a current Illinois Tech student. His name is Ryan Crawford. If we could make him co-host as well. Oh, he's popping up.
Yeah, right here.
Hi, Ryan. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good, good. So do you want to tell me a little bit about first where you're from and what got you interested in cybersecurity specifically?
Yeah, so originally from Portage, Michigan, which is like near Kalamazoo in the southwest of the state. But now I'm in Chicago because I go to Illinois Tech, obviously. And I have always been interested in computers, but not necessarily like programming. And I kind of just discovered cybersecurity when I started going to Illinois Tech and decided I was going to make that my career.
Awesome, awesome. So it says right here, you first majored in information technology and management, and now you're mastering in cybersecurity and forensics, or you're moving into mastering for that. I guess, how did that experience, how did your undergraduate experience help you for your graduate experience, specifically with cybersecurity?
Yeah, so I'm in an accelerated master's program, which is something we offer at Illinois Tech. So I did start off with my bachelor's, then after completing about 60 credits of that, I could start my master's, which is what I'm doing now. And then you get to share 9 credits in between your bachelor degree and your master's degree. So that like IT bachelor's just started a foundation, and I could transfer some credits into my master's so I can get that quicker than you normally could. So
awesome, awesome, good to hear. So in terms of, can you tell me a little bit about some of the external opportunities? You're interning somewhere right now, correct? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so over the summer, I interned for the Department of Energy. So I was a federal employee, and I was working in the Strategic Security Sciences Division at Argonne National Laboratory. So I was doing some cybersecurity work there, mainly research. And I just got hired there for the fall. So now I'm just a regular employee. So you know, having this cyber experience at Illinois Tech has given me some pretty interesting options career-wise, even though I'm still a student.
Yeah. So what are your future career goals with all of this in mind? Has this given you an idea as to what you want to do after graduating?
Yeah, so I'm actually really liking research. So I think there is a big chance that I will stay in research, which isn't necessarily something that you had listed earlier, but it is another career path. You know, especially if you're working for a government or something like that. There are so many cybersecurity programs you could like work forever. I think I've also thought about just doing like just forensics for a private company or something like that, or maybe getting into auditing accounts. So lots of opportunities. There's so many more like job titles than like,
yeah, those were just 3 that I put there. Yeah, I couldn't list all of them there, but as Ryan's saying, there's a lot of other opportunities. So you mentioned research. Can you tell me any specific research that you've done?
I don't know if it's
or
past,
like in your
security.
classes.
Okay.
In your classes.
Yeah, so over the summer I had a master's course, and that was in cybersecurity technology. So some of like the research papers that we did in that class, or I guess my specific research paper, was on the Earn It Act. So it's like a bill that's in process right now in the United States, and it's kind of about like breaking encryption, though it's being passed under like a different premises. So we also will analyze policy and things like that when you're getting into the cyber programs, because cybersecurity and governmental policy kind of go hand in hand. So you do also have to be like aware of what's happening legally at the time. So I also like that aspect about cybersecurity. There's lots of different aspects to it. It's not necessarily all just sitting in at a computer and working on a firewall.
Yeah, it sounds like it's very well-rounded because you're working on this policy aspect, and then you're also, doing whatever you're doing with the computers and the hacking. I'm not exactly a STEM student, so Ryan, I'm glad that Ryan's here in order to educate you all about cybersecurity. Another question I had was, what would you recommend to a student that's interested in cybersecurity?
Just like starting off advice or something like that, or
yeah. Specifically, like what did you wish you knew, I guess, before getting into like your major?
I think at first I was just super worried that it was all just going to be like math and programming and that like plethora of things, which does exist if you want it to exist. I, however, am not the fondest of it, but there's definitely like so many career options and choices and courses that involve like no mathematics whatsoever. So I think cybersecurity is a lot broader than what you might initially think it is. So I would definitely recommend trying it out. You could easily just take a couple courses. If you find it's not for you, you could always just use that as one of your free electives and you knocked one of those out of the way. But cybersecurity is not going anywhere. Like you mentioned earlier, it's just going to keep increasing in jobs. In Chicago alone, I think there's like statistically, there should be around 11,000 jobs that are unfilled for cybersecurity. And you can work from home, so you don't really have to worry about
right now
the volatility of that.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I think that's really useful for these students, especially introducing cybersecurity. Does anyone have any specific questions for Ryan right now before I go on to the admissions part? Because he is a current student, so he'd be able to answer anything specifically about classes or anything in general you'd like to know, while I can answer more about the admissions standards.
Well, I got a question here on Instagram for Ryan. Is what do you think about the Huawei and the problem of cybersecurity that it's happening right now? Maybe TikTok.
About TikTok?
Yeah, the whole thing that it's happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, sorry, I just had to like think about it for a second.
No.
So
it's a question. Yeah.
It seems like a very large question. I mean, there are plenty of companies that are taking your personal data. So I think it is, in my opinion, mostly just like a politically motivated thing from like the Trump administration when they wanted to kick that out of the US. But basically, if you're using any free service online, they're just selling your data. That's how it's free. It's because you're not paying for it. So they're selling your data instead. That's just something you should also remember in cybersecurity, that nothing is free. And if you think it's free, they're just selling your info. So it's super common from everything from like Google to TikTok, Facebook, literally anything.
Yeah, the main difference is that TikTok is Chinese. So I think that's, as Ryan mentioned, why there's the big hullabaloo of the freak out over TikTok.
Yeah. Well, I got another question for you, Ryan, but I think it's a more ethic one.
Okay.
What do you prefer, freedom or security?
That's a deep question.
Yeah, it's a very broad question.
It is.
It would really, really depend on the situation. Because, I could say like security, but, it would depend what freedoms would be limited in that situation and like what discipline. So I would need like specific examples in order to answer that in a detailed way.
That's it, man. That was the good question.
Okay, diplomatic response. There's one here about what are some of the advantages of taking an accelerated master's as well. I think Ryan, you briefly went into that.
Yeah. So it's something that Illinois Tech offers. Not every institution is going to offer something like that. So, you know, master's degree typically takes you like 2 years to do this, around that. But if you are doing your coterminal master's, or sorry, accelerated master's at Illinois Tech, you can share 9 credits in between your bachelor's and your master's. So that's 9 classes you don't have to take. Master's here is typically like 30 credits, about that much. That's 9 less, so like 21 credits left. You really just like knocked off what could be like a semester of classes right there. But more importantly, you can start taking your master's courses before you've even received your bachelor's degree. And typically you're gonna have to get your bachelor's, you'd like do your grad stuff and then apply to grad schools, get in, start your master's. So you can really just finish super quickly. So I'm supposed to graduate fall 2022 and I'll have my bachelor's and my master's, and like that's like in no time.
yeah, exactly. So you can finish your degree within a year and a half, as opposed to 2 years. And then I know students are paying that same undergraduate tuition rate for that last year with their same scholarships that are applied from the undergraduate tuition.
Which is also super nice. So grad tuition typically costs more, but you know, you get to keep that undergrad tuition, and at Illinois Tech you can keep your undergrad scholarships as well. So it's something also really nice that Illinois Tech does. I know a lot of places won't do that.
All right, so I have the presentation here. I'm going to move on to the next section of this presentation. If I can find it. All right. Got it. So I wanted to thank Ryan for coming with us. He can feel free to stay on at the end if people had any additional questions for him. But we're going to go over a little bit about the college now, or Illinois Tech in general. So in terms of our undergraduate population, we have 5 colleges: the College of Engineering, College of Architecture, College of Computing, Lewis College of Science and Letters, and the Stewart School of Business. Within these colleges, there's over 40 undergraduate majors, as well as over 50 minors like artificial intelligence, entrepreneurship, music, game design. And I'm not going to go over each of these programs individually, but I think some programs that stand out specifically for Illinois Tech is our architecture program. We're rated #1 in the Midwest for architecture. Our campus was actually designed by a famous architecture member as well, named Mies van der Rohe. Other programs that stand out is obviously our cybersecurity programs, computer science, mechanical engineering. We have aerospace engineering, as well as a newest program, artificial intelligence. A lot of schools don't offer that, and we're really proud to offer that at Illinois Tech. So a little bit about our location. So we are located about 20 minutes south of the main downtown area of Chicago. If you look at this map, you can see the red lines and the green lines. You can take those from that main campus and get to downtown Chicago, I want to say 10, 15 minutes at most. And all students do get a U-Pass through their tuition, so they can travel using public transport throughout the city of Chicago through that tuition during the fall and spring semesters. We're a smaller campus as well, so around 125 acres and about 3 miles from the Loop, downtown Chicago. We're a residential campus, and we're in the historical Bronzeville, Bridgeport area. So there's a lot of cool restaurants nearby. As you see here, we're right on the border of like Michigan, so our students like to hang out on the beach quite a bit during the summers. We're right by the White Sox Stadium as well, and you have easy access to airports, including Midway and O'Hare International Airport. I forgot to mention, if anyone wanted to receive more information from us specifically, feel free to scan this QR code. It'll bring you to a page that you can input your information, and we can send you some follow-up information if you're interested. So I'm just going to keep it up there for a second. There'll be one at the end of the presentation as well if you missed this one. Okay, a little bit about the makeup of the school. So our undergraduate population is about only 3,000. So we are a smaller institution, but transfer students make up around 25% of the entering class. So if you're starting at a college and you want to transfer in, we do have a sizable transfer population as well. And we are more grad heavy, so about 3,500. But that just mostly benefits our undergraduate students because they have these opportunities to work with grad students and professors on these projects as well. Our student to faculty ratio is 12:1. So for every 12 students, there's one faculty member. So it's quite a small size. So you get that individualized attention. All 50 states are represented. And the percent of undergraduate international is around 17%. But when you get to the graduate side, it gets up to around 40%, I'd want to say. So most of our grad students are international. And then our retention rate is 88%. So what that means is from the first to second year, 88% of our students are choosing to stay with us. Just briefly, I know we have a little bit of time, so I'm going to go through this rather fast. But we do have a free application. You can go to apply.iit.edu. or go through the Common App. A little bit about what you need to apply. So we are test optional for spring 2021 and fall 2021, but you can submit SAT and ACT scores if you like. We need all official high school transcripts, one letter of recommendation, and either TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo. I'd recommend Duolingo because you can do it right from your home. And I think it's cheaper and easier than the other two options as well. Some recommended coursework as well that we look at. We're going to be looking at your math grades specifically, especially if you're applying for these heavy STEM courses, majors. So our first year class profile, generally what our students are coming in with. So the middle 50% of admitted students are the top 10% of the graduating class. With the weighted GPA between a 4 and a 4.36, SAT between 1285 and 1370, and ACT between 29 and 32. But do keep in mind, this is just the middle 50%. So what that means is 25% are going to score below that, and 25% are going to score above that. So if you fall outside of those ranges, we do review you holistically, taking into account these scores, your letter of recommendation, your common application essays. So if you are a little lower on these ends, it's not the end of the world. And we do super scores. So if you do submit 2 separate SAT scores, we'll take the highest reading and math from each of those and give you the highest score that you would. Some of the admissions deadlines. So for fall admissions, so for classes beginning in August, international students outside of the US have until May 15th to apply. For spring, if you want to come this spring, it's November 15th. Once you submit all your materials, you should receive a decision within 2 weeks regarding your admission decision. And then briefly, I want to go over the cost of attendance. So this right here is the cost of attendance. And let me just say that this is the sticker price. No student is going to pay this full amount. I wouldn't pay this full amount right here. So all students do receive scholarships. Taking into account this sticker price as well, I just want to advocate that Illinois tax return on investment is rated #1 in the state of Illinois. So what that means is our graduates are making more money like 5-10 years down the road, as opposed to graduates from other universities in the state of Illinois. That includes the University of Chicago, University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. So lots of big name universities. This smaller school is able to advocate for our students being able to be financially successful after graduating. Some first year scholarship opportunities. So all international students are considered automatically for merit scholarships ranging between $15,000 and $32,000 per year. This is based on a holistic review of your application, taking in everything into account. Some students may be awarded an Elevate stipend as well. So basically, you can use this stipend toward external experiences approved by Illinois tax. So for example, study abroad, research, internships. Because we know in the past that sometimes the amount of money that you need to do these programs could stop students from doing it. So we kind of want to help students be able to experience these external opportunities, specifically at Illinois Tech. So I wanted to keep it within the time here. If you guys wanted to scan this right here, feel free to input any information for us and we can reach out to you. Otherwise, you can reach out to my personal email down here, thardy4@iit.edu, and I'd be happy to answer anything. I generally reply within the day. So if you reach out to me, I'll reply to you. Are there any questions specifically?
I got another one is, if I am studying civil engineering in Venezuela, can I transfer my credits to IIT to study cybersecurity?
It depends. I would recommend looking, so if he's looking to transfer for cybersecurity, I would recommend, we have transfer guides on our website. He can go ahead and search them, look up, I don't know, cybersecurity transfer Illinois Tech, and it'll show what kind of courses we generally look for students that are transferring in. So if he's taken a few courses specifically in civil engineering that may, work along with cyber engineering, it would show up on there. I would recommend, if he has any further questions, to reach out to my email as well, and I can send him some of this through email too.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I can say something on that. I know transferring is a little different, but when I started off at Illinois Tech, I was biomedical engineering and pre-med. And then I switched over to IT and security, and some of my credits transferred over, even though medicine really doesn't have anything to do with cybersecurity. So it's quite possible. I just it is going to be different if you're transferring instead of internally transferring, but some of mine switch over.
Oh, thank you for that. If someone from, I don't know, anyone, another question, you can say in Spanish and we can translate it for them.
Yeah.
I know that it's a lot of information to process, but they are giving us their emails and stuff just to reach out and ask their questions. So thank you so much, Tyler and Ryan, for your time. We really appreciate that. And oh my God, I'm really interested in cybersecurity now.
Oh, great. I'm glad we could tell more about it. And I want to thank Ryan for taking the time out of his day to attend with us. I think it was great.
No problem.
Those experiences.
Thank you very much, Tyler. Nice to meet you. I'm Sarai Hernandez. I'm the advisor at CBA in Venezuela. Irina could not connect due to problems with her internet connection, but we really appreciate your presentation today. So thank you very much.
Of course. Thanks for having me. I'd love to collaborate in the future as well.
Of course, thank you. Well, guys, if you have any question for them, you can see their emails and send your questions. And we are going to upload this webinar to YouTube, maybe IGTV, just to people from Venezuela that didn't make it to watching live. And you can watch that, their emails to ask questions.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice day. See you, Ryan and Tyler.
Bueno, para el resto de los participantes, si tienen alguna pregunta, pueden hacerla en español, pueden hacerla también a través del chat de WhatsApp. Por allí les estarán compartiendo los correos electrónicos de tanto de Cory como de Tyler. En el caso de los que están interesados en Computer Science, los que están interesados en Ciber Security, pueden hacer más preguntas por allí. Muchísimas gracias por conectarse. El día de mañana hay otra actividad que si también les interesa son bienvenidos a participar. Esta sesión va a ser subida a YouTube ya que hubo muchos problemas de conexión el día de hoy. Hay muchos sitios sin luz en Venezuela, entonces para que tengan la oportunidad de revisarla. Feliz tarde para todos.